Education, security and welfare on the front burner as Nigeria joins the world to celebrate Children's Day. Senate amends CBN Act, raises emergency advances to 15%. Bandits abduct unspecified number of residents of Birnin-Gwari in Kaduna State. And on the foreign scene, 10 people killed in new clashes in southern Chad. Hello and welcome to the news update on Trust TV. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thanks for joining. And now the details. As the country prepares to inaugurate a new government on May 29, children are not left out in the prayer for a better nation. In Asaba, Jonathan Awanyai spoke with children and parents on the way forward for a better nation as the country marks International Children's Day.
Children are an integral part of the society and they represent the future. In Nigeria, the International Children's Day is marked on May 27 as against other nations that celebrate the day on different dates. However, despite the disparity in dates, the objective is the same, a day set aside to celebrate children. It was on that premise that the United Nations adopted the Declaration of the Rights of the Child on November 20, 1959 and the Convention on the Rights of the Child on November 20, 1989. As the country prepares to inaugurate a new administration, children in Delta State have different appeals for the incoming government, both at the state and federal level.
There are children at the orphanage that don't get enough food. There are children on the streets that don't get enough food too, and education. So I feel like the government should keep point and target those children so that they can give them better freedom. Because
some children, some of them are on the road, some of them don't have houses. Not only to them, but to them and their parents too. They should be provided by like the government should have shelters to hold those kind of people.
Making the children of the world happy, and governments can still help children by building schools for children so they can learn.
Others who spoke with Trust TV called on the federal government to tackle the menace of out-of-school children and strengthen protection of children's rights to education and other basic necessities of life.
Our government should try as much as possible the policy of free education. This is just to keep the school children away from the streets.
We thank God for this day, but unfortunately I think parents have failed, because with what we see with children now, we are bothered about the next generation.
Jonathan Awanyai for Trust TV News.
Now, May 27 every year is marked as Children's Day. International Children's Day was first proclaimed in Geneva during the World Conference on Child Welfare in 1925. In Benue State, stakeholders are worried that the government has failed to prioritize the welfare of children in its programs and policies. Jimmy Azande reports.
Policy documents have highlighted some of the basic needs of children over the years in Benue State, one of which is education. The policies, however, end on paper more often than not. The children, however, suggested ways the government can improve.
Government should improve schools and hospitals to have quality education so that the children attain formal education and are well treated. I want to become a surgeon as a Nigerian child, and I hope and believe that I will ascertain that here in Nigeria.
Other residents of Benue are worried about the growing number of out-of-school kids.
If I should go and take my relative's child and send that child out on the streets to wander around in the name of selling, I don't think it's right. If I were to die, I don't think I would expect any of my relatives to ask my children to go about wandering about with trays of wares on their heads. I don't think I would rest easy knowing that my child is doing that. So I feel if you really want to take care of a dead relative's child, if you know you won't be able to leave the child where the child is, don't go and bring the child and then expect that the child should pull their weight in taking care of themselves. Let the child stay where the child was originally.
Those children too have the right to be in school. And those children who are hawking out there are exposed to so many dangers, especially, I would say, even sexual harassment, because these days you find children being abused sexually. And those children who are out there, they join bad gangs.
They also enjoin government and parents to prioritize the welfare of kids. Regrettably, they said some kids have become child parents because of the responsibilities they shoulder in their homes.
I feel parents should just take time, face their responsibilities, embrace their responsibilities. You have children to care for, you don't have them to help you. You don't have them to help. They don't need to help you take care of yourself or themselves. If a child is hawking, I think you are making the child work for him or herself.
Some of them might want to be in school, but they don't have that opportunity. So please, I'm begging parents to give their children that chance, because some of them are eager to learn. They are eager to go to school, to learn like their fellow mates. So they should give those children the opportunity to go to school and learn. Because there's this adage that says we should catch them young.
Basic education for children is becoming an impossibility, drawing from the growing number of kids hawking and doing odd jobs on the streets without any hope of returning to the class. This phenomenon, if not controlled, is a time bomb, as the country is already suffering humanitarian crisis, a major setback to the future of the children.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has called on Nigerian parents and children to hold on to the ancient truths of integrity, honesty, knowledge, and hard work in spite of the changing times, saying these landmarks remain the pillars of destiny. The president made the call in a release issued on Saturday by his media advisor, Femi Adesina, to mark this year's Children's Day. The president said that every Children's Day reminds all of the future and the necessary sacrifices and building blocks by parents, guardians, teachers, leaders, and government to secure the nation's greatest assets on earth. President Muhammadu Buhari admonished parents to treat their children with dignity while staying focused on discipline. The president noted that efforts should be geared towards putting building blocks that will sustain unity, peace, and prosperity for the sake of the children. Now, the Nigerian Senate has amended the Central Bank of Nigeria Act to increase the total CBN advances to the federal government from 5% to a maximum of 15%. The proposed amendment is to enable the federal government to meet its immediate and future obligations in the approval of the Ways and Means by the National Assembly and advances to the federal government by the Central Bank of Nigeria. The report.
The Red Chamber passed the amendment at an emergency session held on Saturday. Senate leader Senator Ibrahim Gobir led the debate on the amendment of the CBN Act to increase the total CBN advances to federal government from 5% to a maximum 15%.
Permit me to lead the debate on the bill, which seeks to amend the Central Bank of Nigeria CBN Act to increase the total CBN advances to federal government from 5% to maximum of 15%.
Senators contributed to the deliberations in an emergency session just 2 days before the presidential inauguration of President-elect Bola Tinubu.
It says that the very essence of this bill, my respected colleagues, is to enable the federal government meet its immediate and future obligation in the approval of the Ways and Means by the National Assembly and advances to the federal government by the
15% for Ways and Means is quite high. Again, is it for this government or for the incoming? And then, of course, the issue of securitization still comes in. Because if 15% is taken, I don't see how it can be paid off within the stipulated time of 1 year that is in the CBN Act.
Justifying the urgency of the emergency session, the Senate President says these critical amendments are very necessary as it is of national interest and also to enable the smooth operation of the executive and a successful transition of government.
On a bill for an act to amend the Central Bank of Nigeria CBN Act LFN 2004 Bill 2023 and approved as follows. Long title as recommended, clause 1 to 2 as recommended, short title as recommended, explanatory memorandum as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole?
Similarly, the Nigerian Senate has amended the 2022 Supplementary Appropriation Act to extend implementation from the 30th of June to the 31st of December 2023. This was to allow full implementation of the budget, especially in the light of the 2022 supplementary budget approved in December 2022. However, according to Senate Leader Abdullahi Gobir, significant amounts of funds remain in MDAs and will require a further extension to be fully expended.
From 30th June 2023 to 31st December 2023 respectively. This was to allow full implementation of the budget, especially in light of the 2022 supplementary budget approved on December 2022.
I think we are only recycling this. There was a time when this same issue came here and senators protested. We don't have to follow what the House of Representatives do. And we are lucky that some of you are here. We might not be here, but business is a government business is a continuous thing.
We felt together with the House that since releases may start from next week, it is impossible that 819 billion that was provided in that supplementary appropriation could be utilized between now and end of June. And of course, we need the roads to be fixed. We need the bridges to be fixed. It's already late in some parts of the country.
The Senate is therefore amending the 2022 Appropriation Act to allow full utilization of the capital releases. The Senate adjourned plenary to Tuesday, May 30th.
Locals in Birnin-Gwari town in Kaduna State say that fleeing terrorists from neighboring Zamfara state encircled the town on Thursday night and abducted many residents. A source said that the sad incident happened at Gobirawa area of Birnin-Gwari main town, close to NTA Birnin-Gwari, not more than 500 meters to the Air Force Field Base. The Birnin-Gwari Local Government Council Chairman Abdullahi Ibrahim has since issued a warning to the residents of the area to restrict movement in the entire Birnin-Gwari Emirate. In a widely publicized message, the council chairman warned that after a meeting with the Emirate Council and security agencies in the area, all movement, whether on foot, bike or any kind of vehicle, was not allowed from 8 p.m. in the Emirate. Our reporter in the state, Bello Musa, will give us an update later. Now, discovery of a lifeless body of a young man found lying opposite PDP Street in Yenagoa, Bayelsa State, has thrown many into mourning. The lifeless body of the suspected to be victim of jungle justice was inflicted with injuries. Friday, Peter reports that the scene caused traffic gridlock around Yenizwe-Gene axis of the Melfort Okilo Road in Yenagoa.
A lifeless body of a young man was found lying opposite PDP Street in Yenagoa. The lifeless body was inflicted with injustice, suspected to be a victim of jungle justice. Residents of PDP Road and other pedestrians woke up early Thursday morning to find the lifeless body of a young man in his early 40s. The scene caused traffic around Yenizwe-Gene axis of the Melfort Okilo Road in Yenizwe-Gene, Yenagoa, Bayelsa State.
No, according to what I hear, say na thief we enter this PDP road. So they say they don't know. Then too they can't see him as he did like that. They don't know how to kill them, who kill himself.
Based on that, the guy was stolen from somebody, so they have to take him down to the road here and place him there. So the guy stole and he came with a gun, so that's why the people that he came to rob, the people now took him down and brought him here, then and beaten him to death. That's why you can see his body over there. So that was what happened.
The young man was beaten to death after robbing an apartment in PDP Road and injuring his target.
Actually, it was on Wednesday night. So there's a in our neighborhood there. So there is a guy that owns generator. So it was 2 a.m. in the night. So this guy just came then follow the backyard. When he managed to break in through the backyard door, the owner of the house suspected something that what is disturbing his kitchen, like there is this kind of strange sound in the kitchen. So when he went to the kitchen, he saw the guy. Then he was like, what are you doing in my apartment? Then immediately the guy pointed gun at him. So he said he should just keep quiet, that if you make any attempt of shouting or calling for help, that is going to shoot him. While they were going inside, the guy just grabbed the guy that wanted to thief in the house. So immediately he grabbed him, the gun fell down. So because the guy has his own girlfriend inside the house, immediately the girlfriend rushed and picked up the gun. So that's how he was caught red-handed. Then he was beaten up. Before the guy called for help, before those area boys now came in, dragged the boy out.
Others who declined interviews call on young people to channel their time onto meaningful things and desist from acts capable of tarnishing their image. Friday, Ebimobowe Peter, Trust TV, Yenagoa.
You're watching the news update on Trust TV. Coming up shortly, we'll take a look at how 70-year-old bagged first-class degree. Details and more after the break. Welcome back from that break. Now let's take a look at the top stories again. Education, security and welfare on the front burner as Nigeria joins the world to celebrate Children's Day. Senate amends CBN Act, raises emergency advances to 15%. Now, moving on, most public libraries in Nigeria today are in decrepit conditions, especially as funding for education at all levels has declined significantly, coupled with the rise in online sources and rise in private schools. Against this background, Adamu Imam takes a look at how public libraries can be revived to promote academic research for Nigerian students.
Historically, public libraries were the places researches were done by students and other researchers, as they could access books not found in bookshops. A librarian confirmed that libraries represent a special place for serious students while pursuing education and not just a structure that house books.
When you continue to manual testing, I don't think they find it interesting. It's only about the use of books or just printed format. That is the only method. Students will find that very interesting. Students want to know virtual library. One, they can come with their computers, laptop or phone, tablet, so that they can just access it. It's the easiest way, not the hard way.
Or the modern one is very important. If the management can acquire new materials, modern materials, I think it will encourage some of the students that they are serious with the library. Then secondly, our lecturers, during the lectures, I think it's very important to inform them the importance of the library. Because some of them, they don't know the importance of the library. They just came to school to go and study.
On the other hand, private schools encourage their students to surf the internet to research for their homework, a situation that negatively affects the reading culture.
Maybe that spending 30 seconds, 30 minutes before they'll say you stand up and start going. So that's what I don't find. If government can intervene, as in make it in such a way that they can take much longer time than expected, like the school being restricting them or whatever. And this textbook, this modern textbook, should be available in the library. I think with that, the student will find it comfortable and enjoyable to come to the library and come and read.
Lecturers should give more topics that will make students actually find the need to go to the library. There was a course I did this semester that had me and my classmates researching. So you basically get some things on the internet, but still you have to make use of the library because the library has a lot of resources.
And improving some facilities, making some stuff conducive for the students in the library, that will serve as an encouragement for students to come to the library. Like myself, I don't mostly come to the library because I find myself very much comfortable in using my phone because I easily get access, to making some researches at the comfort of my house.
However, students of public schools used to have library, but because of paucity of funds, most of those libraries are not fully operational, hence the need for government intervention. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
Now, in his quest to make his dream come true, a 70-year-old man, Ben Domlong, has bagged his first-class degree from the University of Jos at the age of 70. The 70-year-old, who was among the 20,532 students, says he enrolled in the degree program out of his passion for education after his retirement as a football coach. Ado Musa reports.
Domlong, who studied painting as a course at the university, had on May 11 made the list of 112 students who bagged first-class degrees. Obtaining a first-class degree certificate is often a big task, but the 70-year-old says acquiring first-class honor should not be a big deal for students. He told Trust TV what prompted him to return to school to study in the midst of his children.
Okay, what prompted me to go back to the university at this advanced age is my passion for arts. All my life I've always drawn. I draw very well, but I never painted. So after retiring in 2014, I came and stayed home about 2 years doing nothing, and I got tired of I got bored. Then I said I should go back to school. I had the idea of going back to school a long time, but my job of football never gave me the opportunity. Now I had all the time, so I decided I should look for a way to get back into the University of Jos.
Asked whether he was discouraged by friends and families because of his age, Domlong says he was doubted by many, but never hesitated to pursue his dream.
Friends doubting me was more of a motivation to me than anything, because the more they doubted my ability to do it, the more I wanted to prove them wrong. Yes.
Commenting on the feat of his father, Gwendai Domlong, a 100-level student, says he is happy with the performance of his father.
No, it's not really surprising because I've lived with my father, so I know he's the kind of person that when he puts his mind to do something, he doesn't really, his actions, from his actions, you know that he doesn't really relent to distractions or any form of discouragement. I'm very happy for him because, for one, he's very overjoyed actually, so his joy is affecting me, so I'm proud of it actually.
Domlong was the former coach of Nigeria Under-20, an assistant coach for the Super Eagles during Korea-Japan 2002. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Inspiring, really. The Katsina state government has introduced agri-entrepreneurship to support to unemployed graduates on fisheries, livestock and poultry. The move, according to the state, is to complement the federal government's efforts to address the menace of unemployment in the country. Abdullahi Ahmadi reports that the beneficiaries were selected from the 34 local government areas of the state. All right, we'll bring you the details later. On the foreign scene, the clashes between herders and farmers on Saturday killed at least 10 people in southern Chad, a region regularly troubled by such violence. According to a local governor, the fertile border areas of Chad, Cameroon and Central African Republic have been gripped by confrontation between predominantly Muslim nomadic herders and sedentary farmers who are typically Christians or animists. Tensions are historically rooted in rivalry over land. The farmers often accuse the herders of letting their cattle trample their crops and eat them, while the herders say that they have the traditional right to graze there. Adam Amadou, governor of the Modul region, told AFP that the latest outbreak of the violence occurred on Thursday when a 12-year-old herder took his animals onto a farmer's peanut field, leading to an altercation that left the child dead. His parents then killed 9 farmers in revenge. Amadou said that, adding that the incident occurred near the village of Bara 2, 600 kilometers southeast of the capital, Jamena. And in sports news, Nigeria's Flying Eagles will look to end their far from ideal record against Brazil at the FIFA Under-20 World Cup in La Plata on Saturday. The Flying Eagles have failed to record a win in their previous 5 meetings against the 5-time champions. The West Africans have lost 4 times and drawn only once. Having already qualified for the round of 16, the Nigerian boys need just a point from this game to secure top spot in Group D. Head coach Ladan Bozo acknowledged the Brazilians' superiority in past encounters against his side, but insisted they are ready to end the barren run. And that's a wrap on Trust News Update. You can watch more via all our social media platforms and also on our YouTube live stream. I am Ayuba Ila. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.